Shabbat Shalom. The story is told of a wealthy merchant who bought a wonderful candelabrum for his home. It was a masterpiece made of pure crystal and studded with precious stones. It cost a real fortune. Because of the candelabra's massive size, the ceiling in the merchant's dining room could not support its weight. In order to hang this beautiful candelabrum, this amazing chandelier, a hole was bored into the ceiling through which a rope was run and fastened to a beam in the attic. Everybody who came to the house admired the wonderful candelabra, and the merchant and his family were very proud of it. One day, a poor boy came begging for old clothes. He was told to go up to the attic where there were old clothes stored and to help himself to some. He went up to the attic and collected a neat bundle of clothes. After packing them into his bag, he searched for a piece of string with which to tie it closed. He saw a rope wound around a nail and decided to help himself to a piece. So he took out his pocket knife and cut the rope. Crash! There was a terrific smash! And the next moment, the whole family rushed up to the attic saying, "What have you done? What have you done? You've ruined us!" The poor boy could not understand what all the excitement was about. He said, "What do you mean I ruined you? All I did was take a small piece of rope. Surely that didn't ruin you." "Yeah, all you did was take a small piece of rope," replied the merchant. "But it so happened that my precious chandelier, my candelabra, hung by that small piece of rope. Now you've broken it beyond repair." 7 weeks after the Exodus from Egypt, the people Israel received the Torah at Mount Sinai and entered into an eternal covenant with God as God's chosen people. We celebrate this event to this day as the holiday of Shavuot. But just 40 days later, 40 days after the giving of the Torah, while Moses was still up on the mountain, our ancestors violated their special relationship with God by worshiping the golden calf. Upon descending from the mountain and witnessing their transgression, Moses smashed the 2 tablets of stone on which God had inscribed the 10 Commandments. Moses then returned to Mount Sinai for a second 40 days to plead with God on Israel's behalf. On the early morning of the first day of the Hebrew month of Elul, Moses once again ascended Mount Sinai, taking with him 2 more stone tablets for God to reinscribe the 10 Commandments. God forgave our ancestors and gave us the new set of tablets. For the 3rd time, Moses remained on the mountain for 40 days, from the 1st of Elul until the 10th of Tishrei, Yom Kippur, during which time Moses obtained God's wholehearted forgiveness and reconciliation with the people Israel. Ever since the month of Elul, this month of Elul serves as the month of divine mercy and forgiveness. We are today on the 13th day of Elul, just a few weeks away from Rosh Hashanah. Our rabbis teach that throughout the entire year, but especially in this month of Elul, a person should always look upon himself or herself as if equally balanced between merit and sin. If I commit one transgression, if I tip my balance and that of the entire world to the side of guilt, then I'll be judged as guilty. One small act can make a huge difference, like pulling a string on which the other end hangs a giant candelabrum. On the other hand, if I perform one mitzvah, one commandment, I tip my balance and that of the entire world to the side of merit, potentially bringing deliverance and salvation to myself and others. God knows we could use deliverance and salvation. For these reasons, it is customary for Jews, especially at this time of year, to give profoundly to tzedakah, to charity, to perform asim tovim, to perform many good deeds, and to be occupied with mitzvot from now until Yom Kippur to an even greater extent than we would during the remainder of the year. The story is told of a man called to the beach to paint a boat. He brought his paint and his brushes and began to paint the boat a bright new red, exactly as he was hired to do. As he painted the boat, he noticed that the paint was seeping through the bottom of the boat. The painter realized that there was a leak and decided to mend it. When the painting was done, he collected his money for the job and went away. The following day, the owner of the boat came to the painter and presented him with a large check. The painter was surprised. "You've already paid me for painting the boat," he said. "But this is not for the paint job," the owner of the boat replied. "This is for mending that leak in the boat." That was so small a thing, I didn't even want to charge you for it," the painter replied. "Surely you're not paying me this huge amount for fixing such a small leak." "My dear friend," the owner of the boat replied, "you do not understand. Let me tell you what happened." The owner of the boat went on. "When I asked you to paint the boat, I had forgotten to mention to you about the leak. When the boat was nice and dry, my children took the boat and went fishing. When I found that they had gone out in the boat, I was frantic because I remembered that there was a leak in it. Imagine my relief and happiness when I saw them coming back safe and sound. I examined the boat and saw that you had repaired the leak. Now you see what you've done? You've saved the lives of my children. I haven't enough money to repay you for your so-called little good deed." One small act can make a huge difference. This month of Elul, may we recommit ourselves to performing acts of charity, to performing ma'asim tovim, many good deeds, and to occupying ourselves with mitzvot from now until Yom Kippur to an even greater extent than we do during the remainder of the year. One small act can make a huge difference. Let's make it a good one. Shabbat Shalom.